City Council passed the stormwater bond back in 2021. I believe it was June 2021. A part of that were multiple projects, but a stormwater master plan as well. And right now we're working with the State of Office Resilience. They have awarded us a grant. We're working a few things out with them contractually with them right now, but we have started those initial works in doing investigation, staff investigation, gathering of all the data that we have, so we can really jumpstart this thing once we get everything solidified with the state. The last, probably why you haven't seen much on the Stormwater Master Plan is because the last one that we had was back in 1973, I believe. So the city's grown a little bit. It's certainly become more and more urban, and our waterways and localized flooding issues have certainly increased. So that's going to be the focus of the Stormwater Master Plan is a lot of the localized flooding that we have. We don't have a tremendous amount of impact from stream flooding.
Mm-hmm.
There's of course nuisance and things that get into folks' backyards from Jeffers Creek and various other branches, and we have a few structures in the city that are within the floodplain, but mostly what we see around here are localized flooding issues just because of the terrain, it being so flat and not being able to get out of that area quick enough during heavy rain events. So soon we'll start the master plan process of again gathering all the historical data. We'll be conducting public meetings, putting additional having a public interface out there as far as a video, informational video showing folks what it is we're doing, and then also allowing the public to work with us and help identify areas that we may have missed or that they have some concern with.
What actually does the master plan address then?
I think the master plan addresses or assists us in developing a long-term corrective plan, if you will. You know, we know we believe we know where all the issues are. We're going to be pretty close to knowing where all the issues are. This helps us, this master plan will help us prioritize and spend our dollars to get the biggest impact as we move forward. Right now, you know, we tend to deal with smaller sections of the city, and this allows us, this will be the first big picture look in quite some time.
It also prepares us, it will establish again the projects, setting up projects, recommendations within the master plan that we can use to assist us in getting future grants as well. That's having that document and the study completed, having that empirical data in place so that we can apply for grants is key.
Now, will that grants that you are talking about, I'm assuming will probably be state grants or through, or maybe federal money through the state?
Yeah,
Most of them.
Have we hired a company or somebody that's going to come in and help, or will we hire a company, or is it going to be all local, done by city employees, or how's this going to work?
It'll be done through hiring of an engineering firm, because some of the grants being paid for through grant, we're in the process of selecting that agency now.
Okay. All right, and then once we get everything started, how long do you feel like it's going to take to put the master plan together and start and get it done and then start putting it into place and making changes.
Well, there's two phases there, and that's the one thing that I don't want people to miss. The plan itself could take up to 10 years.
Implementing all
Right.
that is
That's a long term. It's a long term process. 3 years for the development of the plan.
that's right.
But it's, what I don't want people to think is, well, for the next 3 years, the city's going to do absolutely nothing about some of the standing water issues as they plan. Well, as we're planning, or as this stormwater plan is being conducted, there are 7, 8, 9, 10, I can't remember the exact number of projects that are already have been identified that the same group who will be working on the plan will be working on the corrective actions for these projects in numerous parts of the city. So it's not like, well, we're gonna wait 3 years and then start doing something. We're gonna start doing something as we're working on the plan. So when council passed the stormwater fee increase last year, there were, I want to say 10, I can't remember off the top of my head, the number of projects that were identified, and those are the projects that we'll be working on.
So right now we have generally about $7 million of the bond going towards 10 of the projects. Each one of those projects usually takes about a year to take from concept to actual shovels in the ground, just from engineering, permitting, everything that you've got to go through. So we have started on a number of those projects now with engineering, and expect to be doing, we'll actually be starting some preliminary work, cleaning out pipes, heavy cleaning, and bringing some of these areas back to initial construction capacity. So we'll be seeing immediate work there, but then some larger projects starting here this coming summer. And then on top of the 7 million, we have received another 7 million from the state to do 3 major projects, one on McQueen in that watershed area, Queen Street, just to our west here, and then Cedar Street just to our south, and then Oakland and Church Street as well. So here over the next number of months, we'll be doing a lot of engineering, surveying, boots on the ground, making sure that we're putting the plan together correctly, and then start construction following that.
I know some of the other coastal cities that I've lived in actually have huge pumps that pump the rainwater down the city streets and out back to the ocean.
Yeah.
When I was down in Texas, they did that.
Right.
So.
Yeah, no, we don't pump any stormwater. none that I can think of.
Thankfully, we don't have those.
Thankfully we don't have to. But we are dealing with the fact that the areas of our city that were built, in the
Majority of the city.
yeah, was built before the stormwater standards were close to what they are now, and so a lot of these areas are still acting as they were designed. They just weren't designed for today's standards.
And what are the standards today that are different than what they were 50 years ago or whatever?
So prior to 2008, there weren't really any standards. It was they were very minimal. It was more about getting that stormwater away from the development as quickly as possible, and there are a lot of practices being done that we certainly don't recommend now. Storing significant storms in the road, and using that type of engineering. So now we stormwater ponds weren't required. You know, there was a lot of things that weren't required that we currently have in place. So now we have both water quality and quantity standards in place to help ensure, one, the waters entering the streams are at pre-development rate. So before that property was developed, that stormwater has to meet that same runoff rate, and then it also has to meet certain water quality standards as far as cleanliness and the just everything that comes along with stormwater to clean that before it enters the stream.
What's the ultimate goal for the stormwater management plan?
Well, the ultimate goal is to improve the conditions as it relates to water standing in the roadways or in backyards and whatnot. Will we ever be able to get to the point where you have a tremendous rain over a short period of time? There's this expectation that water will be gone in 30 minutes. Well, that's just not reality, and probably never will be reality. So we're looking to improve drainage where we can as much as we can. But as Clint had mentioned, Florence is flat, and we're dealing with some older developments where stormwater wasn't a big consideration as they were built, and trying to come back in and totally correct those issues is extremely difficult and extremely expensive.
I know at the city council meeting, there's been some concerns raised by the public, like if a new apartment complex comes in because of the runoff from the parking lots and things like that. Is that, does the city look at that as part of the planning process?
Yeah, now, today, any development today requires a stormwater management element to it. Whether you're building a subdivision, whether you're building an apartment complex, apartment building, after a certain size, you're required to hold some of that water on site for a while, and so we're not turning a blind eye to where stormwater goes. There are standards and requirements in place now. You'll see that as you look at these new developments.
Okay. Anything else we need to address that I didn't think of about stormwater?
Not that I can do.
I think we're good.